What's up, guys? Team Stamp West. We are back with a special guest. Really the biggest move of the 2022 offseason, in my opinion. We got Chris Dickerson.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris. Super excited, as you can tell, to get a chance to talk to you. We want to kind of start things off going all the way back to 2013, little trip down memory lane. The tournament is called the Shootout at the Deer in Johnson City. And at the time, an unrated guy named Chris Dickerson comes out to play AM1 and fires off a 10-15 in a 990 round, 999, excuse me. And a star is born. What do you remember about that first tournament?
Okay, so that was actually my second PDGA tournament, but it was my first tournament with a PDGA number. So, yeah, going into that tournament, I didn't have any expectations. I had no idea what a rating was. But after the first round, I was tied for first place. I was playing advanced. I tied Zach Melton. He was playing open. We both shot a pair of 10 unders.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I caught a little bit of flack for shooting that in advance, but I was like, this is my second tournament ever. I don't know where I'm supposed to be at. So, yeah, I finished out the tournament, like you said, 999 the second round. And my first ever rating update, because that was the last tournament I played in that year, was 1,007.
just starting right out at 1,007, and I think you'll probably know the answer to this one. Do you know who won MPO that day?
Yeah, Zach did.
Yeah, it was Zach's. we know you guys are good buddies, so kind of funny. Your first PDGA tournament, you start out with 1,007 tournament in advance, and like you said, you were trying to figure out maybe where you kind of fit into things. So we're not going to give you any flack here for that. Awesome. Well, let's fast forward to 2022. You signed a huge deal with Discraft, and I've said this a lot of times to a lot of other people. I loved your post that you made about the switch over to Discraft, and me as somebody who just loves disc golf, I always read these posts 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm just really kind of taking them in. And one of the things that I thought was really cool with your post was that you mentioned this wasn't just about you. This was about your family, and it's obviously centered around disc golf, but was really a family decision. Do you want to touch just a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. So like anyone else who has a family, has a significant other, they should be thinking about making the decisions for that family or that significant other included, instead of just making decisions for themselves. I would say not always doing what's best for just you, but for your whole family. But in this case, it was best for both of us. So yeah, just thinking about the family, what would be the best for them and for me. So
yeah. I thought it was really cool. As part of your post too, you mentioned that Discraft took that into consideration as well. They knew that they aren't just signing Chris Dickerson, they're signing the Dickerson family as a whole to bring you guys all in. And so I thought that was really cool, especially myself as a family man. That really spoke volumes, I think, when I read through that. So I thought that was really neat. Let's talk a little bit about building your bag. Everybody kind of seems to have a different approach, especially with a sponsor change. Was your approach more, I'm trying to replace what I was throwing? Or did you come into this with a little bit more open-minded? I'm just going to throw everything and kind of build my bag from there.
It was a little bit of both. So I've always been a person who, playing with so many different people, all those people are sponsored by every other company. I've always wanted to have conversations with people throughout the rounds, just to like, hey, what are you throwing? What is that disc? Why does it fly that way? So I had a pretty good idea of like what discs were out there and what they flew like. Obviously there were some that I'd never thrown, I'd never seen people throw. So going into building the bag, I had a pretty good idea of what discs that I wanted and what they flew like and what they were going to replace in my old bag. But also, there were discs that I'd watched other people throw that I didn't have slots like that in my bag. So I was really excited to try out new discs and, you know, fill the spots I didn't have. And yeah, it was really fun. I compared it to, you know, if you're with a company for a long time and a brand new disc comes out, you're excited about that new disc and you're eager to throw it. And it was like that, but with a whole new bag.
Times 20.
Yes.
That's what I know. One of the things I kept hearing people say is the FX2, you know, that disc was really made specifically with Chris in mind. And I can recall, you know, watching you on coverage for tons of hours over the last year or two. And every time I see that FX2 fly, I was like, Undertaker. It flies just like an Undertaker. Would you compare those? Are those two discs pretty comparable?
Nope.
Nope. Oh.
So, yeah, the FX2 was designed to be like a little bit more overstable Thunderbird. So,
Okay.
more like a Predator. It's very similar to a Predator.
Okay. Is a Predator in your bag now?
Yes.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've got a couple in there. I've got I think it's Z Metallic one, one that is just now coming out, and I have a Big Z one.
Nice. I saw Bob Julio showing off some of those Big Z ones at the memorial.
Yep.
Obviously, you mentioned you had a chance to, you know, play with a lot of other people, talk a lot of people. You've probably had a chance to play with Paul Macbeth more than other people because you guys are always right up on that lead card or chase card together at it seemingly just about every tournament. Was he a help in building your bag as you transitioned over to Discraft, or did you kind of do your own thing?
He helped me out a little bit. He suggested a few discs, and he also gave me some advice. He said, don't necessarily try to replace discs. Don't expect like certain discs to fly like the old discs that you threw. Take the new discs, figure out how they fly, and, you know, go from there. He said that kind of a hurdle that he had to go through was he was trying to make a new disc fly like one of his old discs.
Yeah.
And he said that he felt like that slowed him down just a little bit. So he gave me the advice to not do that and to just, you know, throw the new discs for what they are instead of trying to replace things. So I've kind of done both.
Yeah. I mean, he's a smart guy. Obviously, that worked out pretty good for him in the 2019 season there. Also, let's jump ahead from beginning of the year to Vegas. A 12th place finish at Vegas, essentially with a bag of new discs. What were some of your thoughts leading up to that event? Was it, you know, I mean, obviously this is your first big tournament with Discraft. You were at the All-Star event, but first big Pro Tour event. Were you kind of going into it with no expectations, or was it the winning mentality, you know, right like you ended last year?
Same mentality. I didn't finish as well as I wanted to. I had a good start. The first round could have been better. I mean, anybody who ever plays around could say that, no matter how good you shoot. But yeah, I think it was the middle two rounds. Those could have definitely been better. But it wasn't because of the disc. It wasn't because I threw it and I was like, oh, it flipped on me when it shouldn't have, or anything like that. It was just more of me in the course. But yeah, I had a pretty good idea of how discs were going to fly, the stability of them, and things like that at the what was it called? Las Vegas Challenge.
Yeah.
The hardest part was actually the All-Star event because where it was on a golf course and it was just a bunch of distance driver shots. So in my area, there's like one or two courses where I could really throw some drivers.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of gotten an idea of how all these forces were going to fly in different stabilities and stuff like that. And I went from like a little bit above sea level to quite a bit above sea level.
Uh,
And so it was like once I got out there, it bumped everything up in stability. So I kind of had an idea of how they were going to fly, and then I had to relearn that. And then
quickly.
the next week, yeah, it changed again. But no, I think we're good now.
Nice. We'll fast forward to Waco, which is this
Hmm.
coming weekend. This is not a tournament that you've typically played a lot in the past. We saw you
Hmm.
play there last year, but I was looking through your uh, tournaments before that, and I think last year was your first year playing out there.
Hmm. It was.
Yeah, and so a great finish. Waco seems to be a course that really fits your skill set. You kind of have, some longer holes with some wind, a little bit of open, but then you also have a lot of woods golf. A seventh
Hmm.
place finish there last year. What are your expectations going into this event?
7th.
I believe so.
That was better than I thought. um, Same expectations. Anybody in the pro division, you should be going into the tournament trying to win. You should be going into the tournament expecting nothing less. So, um, that's what I'm going to try and do every weekend. I mean, obviously things are going to sometimes get in the way of that, and it's just how you deal with that adversity. You've got to battle through that. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Waco. I've been here for a few days short of a week, so I've gotten a lot of rounds in on the course, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
That's awesome. Any holes out there that you really enjoy? Anything that's kind of comparable to Tennessee disc golf that you're really loving on that beast?
Uh, yeah. Once you get into the woods,
Yep.
it feels kind of like home. But there's one hole that has been giving me trouble the entire week, and I think it's one of the better holes. If they would just tweak it ever so slightly. I can't remember what specific hole it was, but it's a par four. I think it goes pretty straight. You need to land a little bit to the left, like down in the bottom, and then throw a sidearm approach.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a really difficult hole. That tee shot is the hardest part, but it's like if you execute the tee shot, the rest of the hole is pretty easy. You shouldn't take much more than a par if you
Nice.
get to the landing zone.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Super excited to watch you out there. You threw out a little teaser about a Z Challenger OS. I think it was maybe on the Discraft All Day page. What do you like so much about the Challenger OS, and when might we expect to maybe see it?
So, what I like about the Challenger OS is that it's an overstable throwing putter, but it's not. The zone is overstable. It's great for the wind, but it only goes so far and it kind of dumps.
Hmm.
It goes straight, and then once it says I'm going to start to fade out, it just dumps out to the left. The Challenger OS, I think, sets up better for the woods. So if you need a shapeable disc in the woods or an overstable throwing putter in the woods, that's where I really like that disc because it's in a premium plastic. It's going to be more overstable. It's going to hold its stability longer, and where the zone dumps out, it's going to want to continue forward and then start moving, to the left for a right-handed player.
Yeah, yeah. I think an underrated throwing putter in the Discraft mold that hasn't got a lot of press in years past, and so it's
Hmm.
really cool to see you kind of bring it to life and give it the spotlight that maybe it deserved when it first came out.
Yeah, that's what I've been talking to Bob about. Is that I felt like the Challenger OS is an underrated disc. I know Chandler putts with them, but besides that, I couldn't tell you another person that really throws them or putts with them or anything like that.
No, me either.
Actually, Corey Ellis probably throws a couple of the Jawbreaker or the other like base type plastics,
he,
but
he probably doesn't throw
yeah,
them like normal people though, knowing Corey Ellis.
right, exactly.
Awesome. Well, we will bug Bob about getting those out and look forward to them. we want to talk about the Buzz. You got to add your name to a really elite list of players that have had their name on the Buzz. I think about Nate Doss really as like kind of the big star of the signature buzzes, if you will. And then obviously we have Macbeth and Paige Pierce, among others. What does it mean to you to have your name on a disc like that?
It is such an honor to be able to have that disc as a Tour Series disc, just because, like you said, only a few people have had it, and they hold that disc to. It's one of the best discs in disc golf. It might be the best selling disc, maybe ever. It might be the most popular disc. I've always been a fan of it, and that's kind of
what does it kind of added to your game too? I know that you've talked a little bit in some of the other interviews and stuff just about it kind of bringing something new to your game. Do you want to just touch on that a little bit too?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a versatile disc. You can make it hyzer, you can throw it straight, you can make it turn over. I mean, obviously, changing up the plastic tops will affect the stability and the way it flies. So that disc, you can hit so many different stabilities across the board as far as mid-range shots, and it's a really reliable disc. And that's why I like it, is you can take that disc and you can almost do whatever you want with it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that wraps up our questions, but we're not going to let you go without some rapid fire questions. We've got 10 rapid fire questions. These will just be quick answer off the top of your head. And I think we got 3 of them that were questions from the Instagram page. Go follow Chris on Instagram. If you don't, go follow Discraft Underground as well on Instagram. Chris, are you ready for these?
I'm ready.
All right. This one comes from a Instagram user named Picante Chicken. I thought that was very fitting. We're going to kick it off with his favorite fast food spot in Tennessee.
Oh, in Tennessee. Maybe Powell's. It's very local to our area. I think there's mid-30s locations. So very small franchise, but I think that might be my favorite in Tennessee.
Nice. What is your favorite stop on the road? It could be a restaurant, a park, anything non-disc golf. What's one place you're looking forward to going back to every year?
Oh man. There's 2 places off the top of my head. They're both chicken restaurants. One's in Nashville. It's called Party Fowl. It's really good chicken. The second is in Chattanooga, and it is called Champy's. So
2 chicken spots.
Both of those. Yep.
Love it. Tournaments on the line. Which would you rather? Forehand shot, backhand shot, big putt?
It all depends on the situation. If it is a wooded shot, backhand. If it is a moving left to right with OB and stuff like that, possibly a forehand. Putts, I think the best putts are ones you really don't have to let go of until, you can safely drop them in the bottom of the basket. So those are my favorite.
This is going to be a bold prediction. Number of tournament wins in 2022.
Oh, tournament wins. I'm playing less and less local tournaments. So the number of wins throughout the last couple of years is, I'm sure it's steadily declined. 10 to 15.
Ooh, strong. I love it. We know you and Zach Melton are good pals. We talked about him a little bit. Who's winning in a game of horse?
Ooh, basketball or putting?
Let's go basketball.
Basketball. Zach's a better shooter than I am. Lefties are always better shooters. But I think it'd be close, but I think he's got me.
Ooh, nice. We talked a little bit about the Challenger OS, but what disc in your bag do you think is the most underappreciated? And this one comes from Be Crazy Disc Golf on Insta.
The most underappreciated. disc in my bag right now. Let's see. Yeah, like you said, obviously the Challenger OS. Besides that, okay, we'll do one from each manufacturer. The Predator from Discraft, and then the Hypercane from BGA.
Okay, yeah, not a super popular one.
Nope.
This one comes from Thai Disc Golf. What do you focus on, or what is your one tip for a better forehand accuracy?
Better forehand accuracy. This tip will help out with backhand too. Your last step should always be in the direction that you're throwing. And I know it sounds really simple, but a lot of people, their last step will be kind of in the direction, but it'll be kind of like off to one side or the other just a little bit. So that's just setting you up for your momentum to go in that direction. So if you're throwing dead straight, your last step is straight, your momentum's going to be going that way. It's going to put you on the right track. So the last step being in the direction that you're throwing, whether it's a gap or just picking a spot out of in the open field, the direction you want to throw. I think that's the biggest thing for accuracy.
Nice. That's a great tip. I'm sure you're still familiarizing yourself a little bit with the Discraft plastic, but is there one mold other than the Z Challenger OS that you would really love to see made? One mold and plastic combination, sorry.
Oh.
You can do anything you want.
Anything I want. Let's see. Let's go with the Ringer GT and let's say Z plastic or ESP plastic, because I know they've only made it in the Z Flex.
Yeah, I like that. A Z plastic Ringer GT would be sweet. Let's call Bob right when we get off.
Yep.
If you could travel anywhere in the world on company dime, Discraft's picking it up, where would you go to?
Oh man, I haven't traveled outside the United States before, so I don't know. I would like to see Europe, but let's just go inside the United States right now. If I could go anywhere, where it would be? Man, that's a tough question. That's not something I really think about.
Yeah.
Basically, the true answer would be wherever the next tournament is. But Vermont's always really good to go see. So maybe Smuggler's Notch.
A lot of people love that one. We know that you love your home state of Tennessee. What is one must-visit place in either Johnson City or Limestone if an out-of-towner is coming to visit?
Oh man,
it's hard when you're local to give people stuff, right?
Well, I mean, there's not much. So in we live in the Tri-City area, so it's made up of 3 different cities: Johnson City, Kingsport, and Bristol. Bristol is the birthplace of country music. So they have a museum. I've never been, but I'm sure that would be kind of cool to see. But in Tennessee, Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, that is the area you need to go if you're in Tennessee. Nice. And that's in between like Johnson City and Knoxville.
Nice. Awesome. That's it for our rapid fires. I threw in some tough ones this time. A lot of times I throw in some either ors, but I threw in some tough ones. So thanks for joining, Chris. We'll give you the stage if you'd like to add anything to any of this. Thank any sponsors. We'll give you a minute. The floor is yours.
You know, I don't really have much to add. You know, always thanks to Discraft and Grip. Other than that, no, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good luck this week at Waco, Chris. Thank you again for joining us. And of course, as always, guys, one thing to do at the end of the day, you got to make that putt.